Hello again. Time for a new game here. Just 1 month after we can see, Magnus traveled to Morelia in Mexico. They had where they had a tournament where they played half the tournament in Mexico and half a tournament in Linares. And it was a double round, so yeah, they played 7 rounds here and 7 rounds here. And as you can see, Anand won the tournament. That was an impressive performance of him. He got ahead of Magnus. That was very good. Looks like Anand might have been world champion at this time, but still very good. Also considering already now Anand started to be a little bit older. Maybe he was 40 or something like that at this time. So it's still very, very impressive, and Magnus is 17. So let's take a look at the let's take a look at the games. I have chosen 2 games here. Magnus against Aronian and then Magnus against Topalov. So this video will be when he plays Aronian, and next will be against Topalov. So Magnus is playing white here, and Aronian. Magnus plays a little bit of an unusual move here, a3, and the reason is of course that Aronian, he used to work a lot with Jan Gustafsson, who later became Magnus' second, and Aronian and Gustafsson, they were both big specialists of the Marshall gambit, which goes like this, as I'm sure you know. It's very theoretical and very drawish if black knows all the tricks, which Aronian does. Aronian is one of the best one at this opening, so it's definitely a good idea for Magnus to play an unusual move here. I also looked at the other games in this tournament, and it's of course good for Magnus, and he would realize this even more as he gets older, that he is a much better chess player than anyone of his opponent. So it's only if he gets into the opponent's deep preparation that he will struggle. For example, if he played a Marshall here, I'm sure Aronian would have held an easy draw. But now, because of it's an unusual move here, a3, then it's a sharp game. Magnus also lost a game in this tournament, and it was against Anand. And there Magnus played white, and they played. Can you just show it quickly here? He played the Semislav system, and now Anand played this, and inviting the Moscow variation where black gets the bishop pair, and it's very, very dry and drawish. But Magnus instead went for this gambit here, and Anand just had a super long preparation here, so he just got a better position out of the opening and managed to convert it. And this is typical example of a line that Magnus should not play, because this is Anand can analyze extremely deep here. But so it's correct approach here from Magnus to play a3. And now we got, as we'll see here, when Aronian does this one, it becomes quite similar to the Archangel variation, and Magnus played a very, very nice game in this tournament against Shirov, and it was in the very main line of the Archangel variation, which is similar to this. And that one, it was that line became the main line of the whole system. But let's look at this is a little bit different, because of course the pawn is on a3, but it could easily go over to the Archangel system. For example, if white would play the main line here, the game against Shirov went like this. This is like the main line of the whole system. And here Magnus played a novelty here, which was, I think he did like this, and you can see computer likes queen h4 a bit better, but Shirov took, and apparently he didn't find, Shirov didn't find like the best. Computer says this is like there is a very, very deep analysis of these lines, but this could apparently have forced a draw because there is tactical stuff here. But Shirov played, he played like this and trying to go here, but Magnus, he played a very, very nice game and won convincingly against Shirov in this tournament. So this game would have been quite similar if Magnus had played a4 and went to the main line here. But instead he does h3 and Aronian this. So I've tried to play this as black, and I'm always a little bit worried, like, so sometimes it has been very common now that even before castling that black just does h6, because like who knows when this pin is good or not, because usually in Spanish you have a bishop here, but when you don't have it, like who knows when it's good or bad. So now we see a situation where a white where white he will sacrifice a pawn here, I think, and he will, but it will be this weakness. Also something like this, I think the reason why black is taking here, because if you do like this, then it is quite well known, then this line is it's just pretty annoying here. And as you can see, computer already think it's good for white now after bishop d5. So before you play this g5, you should take, because if you now take here with the knight, then of course you could like, you can take this pawn and get out, because like if in this line, if you would take here, like white would obviously not take back but do something else. So that's like a trick that's very good to know if you play the Archangels. So Magnus decided to sacrifice a pawn like this, or maybe it's not a pawn sacrifice, because this is, but Aronian played this, he took, and of course it's not so clear because white has a lot of tactics here, black's king is weak and so on. So it looks like the computer think queen c1 was the best, and when they take, you can take in between on h6. And now if you would move the bishop, obviously white would get kinda nice play here and maybe lift the rook or something like that. It's just a strong attack. Let's see if it's, and apparently has an immediate draw also here with the checks. So apparently there's many ways. Maybe check and then take here with the bishop is one way, and bishop h4 is also one way. So it's better for for black to take on e4 either with the rook or the bishop. Apparently the computer likes to take with the rook best. Something like this. And white always have the perpetual checks here, so white can never risk anything. So it's just if black can do something. But it looks like this is, yeah, this is even game. White has sacrificed a pawn, but he has some play for it. So apparently this was a bit of a mistake, but it's very sharp position, so it's not strange that they don't play the best moves here. And black took with the knight here, that was correct, and then here. So apparently here it would have been better for black to play c6. And if white saves the bishop. Now this queen g7 is a common move when to kind of get rid of this this pin. That's, I don't know, it's just defending here. I've noticed that move quite a lot. So apparently there is a queen sack here. Let's look at that one, just because it's a queen sack. Something like this, and white has... this looks like a fun position. White has 2 pieces for the queen, but he has dominating pieces here. And this pin is super annoying now to get out of. So I guess... Well, the players probably didn't see it this far, but this would have been another very interesting line. So let's see what happened. Black took here to give white a doubled pawn. That's not so strange. So apparently here black made a blunder. He made king h8. Better was king h7. So what's the difference then? What happened? Let's see first what happened in the game, and then we realize why it was better to go to h7. So white did this one. That looks fine. Here, king here. Yeah, okay, so here black did a nice tactic, I think. The point is, of course, that if white takes here, then it's mating 1, like this. That's a nice mate. So white has to sacrifice his queen back, and now it's check here. I guess this must have been the thing that Aronian missed, because here, okay, it doesn't look so bad for black. It's, what's the pawns? Black is actually up a pawn, but of course this knight is it's kind of trapped, almost trapped. So I guess that's the thing, is that this knight is trapped. So white will win it by rook h1 and then f4 and then win the knight. So white is winning a piece here in the long run. So let's look at why was it better to go to h7 then. Okay, so let's see if they play the same. And now knight here. So the difference is that this is not check. So black, instead of knight h2, that's still winning for white. Black can do this move now. And it looks like white has to take here, take back, take. Okay, so he can win the bishop here. And this is apparently quite even. Okay, so Aronian's mistake here was that he didn't see that white in that line can take on d4 with check. So let's see how what happened there if the knight on h2 got trapped. Yeah, it's just a bad setup with a knight here. Black cannot hold it, of course. Rook g2, knight d5, and it's a pin. So he has to sack it for a pawn, but this is of course winning for white with a piece more. Black has 3 pawns, but it's a weak king and bishops on different kind of colors, so white will get an attack here in the end. Let's see how Magnus converted this. It will be instructive, for Magnus is the master of this kind of conversions. Yeah, and Aronian had enough. It's understandable. So nice game, but by Magnus. Next time we will see how he plays against Topalov.